Hey everybody, we're going to look first at calculating concentration, and we're going to be doing this using two techniques, percent by mass and percent by volume. And basically the situation we're taking is this, is we have some items that we're going to put together in a mixture. So we've got salt and water, and we're going to put those together to make salt water, and we want to know the concentration of the salt water, that is, how much salt is dissolved into that salt water. And we do this using, as I said, percent by mass and percent by volume, and lucky for us, the formula for both is exactly the same. So percent by mass or volume, either one, doesn't matter, equals the mass or the volume of the solute divided by the mass or volume of the solution times 100. And that gives you, the multiplying by 100 just gives it to you as a percentage. And so this is a quantitative measure of concentration. That is, we'll actually get numbers for this, which is quite nice. And so let's look at this situation. If we've got 50 grams of salt and 150 grams of water, and we're going to put those together to make salt water, and we want to find the percent by mass of salt. You can see where I began and didn't finish here. The percent by mass is the mass of the solute divided by, and here we have to be careful, the mass of the solution, not the mass of the solvent. We need the mass of the final product. Well, if this is 50 grams and this is 150 grams, the mass of this must be 200 grams. And so we can see that the mass of the solution is just the mass of the solvent plus the mass of the solute. So in this case, the mass of the solution would be 200 grams. And then we multiply that by 100. And if we do the math, we can see 50 divided by 200 times 100 is going to be equal to 25. And notice how we say this, 25%, by mass salt, or sodium chloride. I'm just going to abbreviate. So we would say this solution is 25% by mass salt. Of the solution, 25% of the mass of it comes from the salt. Alright, now we're going to look at a similar situation, but we're going to use volume instead. So imagine we take this situation. We've got some vinegar, and we're going to use this to clean with, but we don't want the full concentration of the vinegar, so we're going to dilute it with water. So we're going to add some water to this, and what we get from that is a dilute, that is, there's not as much of it, a dilute vinegar. And let's take, for instance, say we have 250 milliliters of vinegar and 750 milliliters of water. You can imagine this doesn't always work the exact same way as it does with mass, but in this case we'll say that we end up with 1,000 milliliters. You do have to be careful. Volume is not always conserved like that. For some substances they mix quite weirdly. But in this case we'll say that it does. So we have 250 milliliters of the vinegar and 750 milliliters of water, and we end up with 1,000 milliliters of dilute solution. If we want the percent by volume of vinegar, in this case, we say it's the volume of the solute, 250 milliliters, divided by the volume of the solution, not the solvent, but the solution. So the solution is 1,000 milliliters, and we multiply that by 100, and we see that just as before, this is 25% by volume vinegar.